y'all, because it is going down in Paris to the point that the American news even had to say something about the shit because we know for weeks now, months even, these protests in France have been getting the American media blackout. They is like, there's some shit going on in France, but we don't know what the fuck's going on over there. Y'all need to know about that shit. Chinese weather balloon. Look up in the sky, y'all. Don't look across the pond. don't you Americans get no goddamn ideas from these rambunctious French people. But the French is out here with the shits, and I am here for it. God damn, I meant to pull some B-roll, but it's cool. What we got to show is wonderful. So, you don't have to imagine what hundreds of thousands of people look like in the streets of Paris. It is, and it's not just in Paris, it is across the whole country. And the amount of solidarity we're not only seeing amongst the French people against these policies of austerity forced upon them by Macron, regarding the retirement age going up from 62 to 64. By the way, the retirement age in America, what's that, everybody? 67? Is that what you said? Oh, okay. Yes. I love that the French are out there tearing up shit because their government is trying to force them to work longer in order to earn retirement pensions. But because these folks seem to have a better understanding, grasp, dare I say, entitlement to a work-life balance. The French are like, we don't want to work for 45 fucking years. How about that? If you only live to be X amount, I mean, shit, 80 is a good age. That's good and old, right? You want to work me for 45? Let's be out your rabbit ass mind. Anyway, some of the other so hold on. So I'm going to talk about how some of the unions are coming together. Not and I say coming together as if it's a new thing. No, the unions have been there from day. Particularly the sanitation workers, the electrical workers unions have been doing their part. I think the last time we talked about this, the sanitation workers in Paris had refused to pick up the trash for like a week. And the bougies were furious. They were so upset. Like, oh, how come the streets of my beautiful city, my belle city, pourquoi they smell like merde? Why does it smell like the merde? Le merde. Merde is shit. Me, and for my Spanish, my mierda. Oh, I love the foreign cusses. That's how you know you can speak the language. Can you cuss in the language? Oh, yeah, you speak the language. Anyway, so the other storyline pertaining to these now weeks-long, months-long protests in the streets of Paris have to do with the heavy-handed way in which the Parisian police and their special forces, I suppose, have been handling protesters. They have been very violent, but in some cases, there have been scenes in which the protesters have turned the police away. I do happen to have one of those scenes to show you. So I actually have a few scenes here. So hold on. Let me get this set up for you guys. So we're going to see some video shot by people on the ground, on the street there. Two of these videos are shot by a journalist whose name is Amar. Talioe. My apologies, Amar. I didn't mean to butcher your name like that, my guy. But you shot some great video here. So the first video we're going to see, of course, because my show is called Burn Down with Cam Brown, we're going to see some shit burn. And by the way, I'm not like, what's the word? So pyromaniac is a nigga that sets fires. What's the shit for the motherfuckers who just like to watch the fire? Like there's another term for that. I'm not that person. Let me just say that. So I don't want y'all to be like, Kim is always showing some shit. I do not have genuine arsonist aspirations. I just wanted to put that out there. So again, I believe that this first scene is going to be in Paris, where we're going to see un bêtement prend le feu, take fire. The next video is going to be the police. We're going to see the police get turned back by protesters hurling projectiles. One of my fave genres, by the way. When projectiles get hurled at police, I said, I like that. Somebody got a good arm. And the last one is going to be a chant. And we dig the chants. We are here for all the protest chants in all the languages: French, Spanish, American English, whatever the fuck. So we're going to see that. But guys, this is truly historical levels of civil unrest and civil disobedience happening in the city of Paris. Some people have even dubbed it the French Revolution 2.0. I don't know until they start couping la tête, and then until heads start getting yopped off, we gonna let the French Revolution stand as its own singular, enigmatic event. But this is also pretty relevant shit that's going on in France right now. So let's take a look at these clips.
Tout le monde, il y a du gaz, il y a du gaz.
Tout le monde déteste la police. Tout le monde déteste la police. The whole world hates the police. That was the chant in the last Joey talk. Did you see all the white people out there chanting? The whole world hates the police. Come fucking through. Come through. Burn the shit down, tear the shit up, throw the shit at police, tell the police to their face that the whole world hates them. Can we give it up for the people of the France, the non-racist, non-imperialist people of the France? Fuck the racists, fuck the imperialists, but everybody that is out there turning up, willing to turn up, good on you, baby. That is the kind of resistance that I am totally here for. Now, we know when we drill down on a lot of the protests, perhaps, and a lot of some of the organizing that is going on around these protests in France, I don't know how much Black people's issues are taking front and center. The issue of immigration, I think if we were to go out there and randomly poll some of those manifestants, those protesters, hey, what do you think about African immigration? Ooh, no. Retournez les immigrants à l'Afrique maintenant. Too sweet, right? They probably say that shit. Get them Africans out of here. But we just not go asking them questions today. We go to root for them, throwing the bottles and shit at the police on today. And those were from the May Day protest demonstrations, by the way, the video scenes that we just saw there. But they have guaranteed organizations, labor unions across France, organizers, they have guaranteed that starting on May Day, May the 1st, this is a week of action. It is on all week. And in fact, some organizations, in fact, this one labor union in France says a week. No, nigga, it's gonna be 100 days. 100 days. Hold on, let me get myself back together. I got too excited looking at the video of them throwing all the shit at the police and the police running away. And then tout le monde déteste la police. Oh, nigga. What? Let's fucking go. That is the shit that I'm here for. I'm sorry. Let me get my shit together. Tout le monde déteste la police. Tout le monde déteste la police. But of course, hold on. Okay, this is where I wanted to go. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll pop up that Hollywood Reporter piece real quick. Talk about how some of the unions are standing in full support of these actions and how it is going to affect some of France's most elite bourgeoisie upcoming events because in springtime, le printemps. What? See, what? I need to turn off my French, dog. Kim, you do not speak of the French all that great. Shut up. So in springtime, Paris in April in Paris, and all the shit. There's a lot of shit going on in France come the springtime, but maybe not as part of these actions. Here we go. This is from a Hollywood Reporter, and interestingly enough, it was not that much mainstream coverage about this per se. It was I know why the Hollywood reporter covered it because it affects their industry. I saw Breitbart had a piece. I'm looking, and sometimes you guys, I know some of y'all have critiqued the sources that I gather news from as overly mainstream, and I do that for a reason. I don't discount independent outlets. You guys know that, but I go to places where I know the majority of the eyeballs are looking, and we need to critique that mainstream coverage of most things, add to it, and just be aware of it because it's what most people look. And again, that's no shade nor disrespect to any smaller outlets. Hello, I am a smaller outlet. So there's that. But anyway, Hollywood Reporter, it says French Energy Union is French Energy Union threatens to cut the power to the Cannes Film Festival. And it's not just Cannes, it's going to be several upcoming events. So it says, as part of an ongoing protest over President Emmanuel Macron's hugely unpopular pension reforms, the Fédération Nationale des Mines et de l'Énergie in France has said that it plans to pull the plug on several major events set to take place in France over the next month. Quote, in May, do what you please. The Cannes Festival, the Monaco Grand Prix, Roland Garros, which is the French Open, the L'Avignon Festival could end up in the dark. The union posted on social media in an announcement titled 100 Days of Anger, 100 Days to Win. Let's fucking go. that is the l'énergie I am here for. What else did they say? It says several unions have pledged to keep fighting the pension reforms, which would raise the retirement age in France to increase it by 2 years up to age 64 by the year 2030. And the period that workers need to make Social Security contribution is set to increase from 42 years to 43 years by the year 2027 in order to draw a full state pension. The country has erupted in protest over the last few months, everybody. Earlier in April, protesters in Paris forced their way into the headquarters of luxury giant LVMH, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, while thousands have taken to the streets bashing pots and pans. And then they talk about something else. I mean, nothing important. But anyway, I mean, that's the Hollywood Reporter. That's going to be what it is. But I appreciate them even giving the thing a mention. And that is a big deal. And I told you guys, I think the last time I covered this, Les Jeux Olympiques, isn't the Summer Olympic Games scheduled? Oh, and that's 2024. That's not this year. Oh, what if they are still bringing the ruckus this time next year? Ooh. That seriously could be happening, y'all. These people are in a sustained fight. And I appreciate, again, the workers, the union members pledging to do harm in the ways that they are able to the French elite, to the bourgeoisie. Like, you're not getting your French Open, nigga. you're not getting your Monaco F1 Formula Grand Prix race. You're not getting that Cannes Film Festival. They told them to bring out, said, y'all better have some torches. you better hope it's a full moon out at that Cannes Film Festival, because we y'all ain't getting no power from us. But earlier in the year, I think it was the same French union that still provided power to schools, to hospitals. When they cut the power to some of the bougies, they still kept the power on to the people that actually deserved it. So this is a kind of solidarity. My God, if we could see this in America. But again, Americans lack the imagination. They don't they have no imagination. That's good, Will. I'm done with that. Thank you, sir. Um, Americans cannot even conceive of a reason to get out in the streets, and it's weird. In those kinds of numbers that we're seeing in Paris, right now, 2020 during the summer after George Floyd and Breonna Taylor were murdered. I mean, we kind of got close. Like I was not kind of impressed. I was extremely impressed with even some of the places that people turned out by the thousands. Smaller cities, not the urban centers or the hubs on the coastal or whatever. It was little places showing up by the thousands to turn out for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. But again, I think Americans, we don't have that same spirit of defeating the government in the way that the French have. Like that French Revolution shit, like that's in them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of coded in them, I guess. Cuz I mean, they seem to be all willing to turn the fuck up and turn up and out against the police, but even worldwide, I think the United Nations even has condemned the actions and the conduct of the French police during these uprisings. And it was this Twitter account that I found. It was Observatory des Street Medics. And again, I can't verify how official this account is. I mean, it looks official, but anyway, they did give a little bit of preliminary injury numbers after the May 1st protest, which of course happened this weekend, all in French here. But it says basically after the protest of the 1st of May, the observation of the street medics, the observatory, said that they counted 200 people injured, 30 people injured severely who had to be evacuated, and 2,000 decontaminations de gas. And it's wild, y'all, because I thought that tear gas was deemed by the United Nations as a, chemical weapon of war. And yet, in the United States, in France, when the people get out of line, voila, voila. Oh, there goes that illegal tear gas that ain't nobody supposed to be having and using against their citizenry. For protest, even. You don't say. Funny how that fucking works. But I will say this. So honestly, like my critique of the French protests, these French protests, as much as I love to see them, my critique is born out of comments made by my comrades on BPM, Jacqueline Lucbon and Jared Ball. Like they were like, this shit is cute. I'm paraphrasing. Jared didn't say the shit was cute. Paraphrasing here, but they, Jackie and Jared was like, yeah, that shit is cute, but how it's very nationalistic. It stays in France, like French workers and organizers don't do this. They don't try to build globally with the working people. Like I feel as though that energy and that momentum that the French are giving to their government right now, man, if they was to be reaching out across the pond, across the Mediterranean, wherever, it could galvanize other worker-led movements and protests, maybe in the same, I don't know, in the same ways. It'd be awesome if it could be done in the same ways, but you understand what I'm saying? Like they could help to what's happening in Paris could be the kindling to what could erupt in a global flame of protest and uprising on behalf of working and poor folks, right? So that's my critique. Again, born out of sitting at the knee of my BPM comrades. Like it stays in France. They only concerned about the French. And I get that. I don't agree with it. It'd be awesome if it was, globally organized and had the opportunity to spread other places. That would be dope. Right. Exactly. Everybody in the chat. Y'all got it. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, the police. Now, make no mistake. The police in France be killing black people. They be killing black and brown people. Like there's make no question about it. The same way that police kill black people here in America, kill black people in the UK, black people get killed in France same way. And I don't and I wonder how offended mainstream French people, not our African brothers and sisters, but mainstream French people, how offended they were, if at all, by police brutality and police violence against African people, African and brown people. But here we are seeing the police be indiscriminate in their violence, beating the shit out of white people, gassing the shit out of white kids. And now the white people is like, we hate y'all. It is like, you should have been hating them. If you didn't hate them the whole time when they was brutalizing and killing Africans and Muslims, you wait until now the state has turned its whole full force on you. And that is something I wish that moderate whites, liberal whites, fuck, even conservative whites here in the United States would pay big attention to. I don't want to hear that shit. The police are doing their job. The police got a tough job, and the police and the police and the police. Like, America can't help but to be police centered. But just as it is in France, should it serve them, the police will come for your white ass. Okay, as if you were not an elite, if you were not an oligarch, if you were not a 1%er, 5%er, 10%er, if the police will come beat the shit out of you, should you get in them streets and think that you are entitled to some shit that the elites have decided that you are not entitled to. I thought that was very telling. I said, look at all them white folks screaming, fuck the police in French. Screaming, fuck the police in French. Oh, man. Tout le monde déteste la police. There is that. But speaking of America, the mainstream coverage, what little there has been, of course, you guys know. I don't know why I like to pick on NBC News so much. I think because I have low expectations of Fox, low to none expectations of Fox. ABC and CBS, I've always kind of been indifferent to. I grew up watching NBC News in my house, and that's why I think I still watch it to this day. I was a big fan of Tim Russert on Meet the Press. I was very sad when Tim Russert died. I said, oh, that's it. That's it. And won't no more journalism be done at NBC News. Won't no more difficult questions be asked of any politician over there at NBC News. So anyway. So I watched Lester Holt again with a critical eye and ear, as always. Come on now. I don't fangirl these journalists out here. Except when they do a good job. But these Bammers don't be doing a good job. So anyway. They had their international correspondent out in Paris, Richard Engel. Richard Engel be sounding like a whole ass op, whole ass agent of the State Department, which he probably is, no doubt about that. But anyway, look at how NBC News covered it. And let this be an example of how a mainstream American media covers this kind of protest happening abroad, led by workers over entitlements. Oh Jesus. How would the media report this? Well, let's take a look.
Hundreds of thousands today took to the streets across France to protest against working more. They're trying to force President Emmanuel Macron to reverse a new, deeply unpopular law, raising the retirement age from 62 to 64. A change made without a vote in Parliament and approved by the highest court here. More than 100 policemen were injured, 20 hospitalized in Paris alone.
So the police have been charging through here, and the protesters have been pushing them back, kicking them, throwing stones at them. And now there's too much tear gas here.
Most of the protesters were far from retirement age.
Some critics say that people in France are being unrealistic, that you need to work more, and that they're lazy, frankly.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
We don't want to be like the American people, like 80 years old, have to work, and this is not a life. This is not a life.
The government argues demographics are killing early retirement. People are living longer and have fewer children to keep the system going. The demonstrators don't buy it and say they'll keep fighting for a work-life balance that's slipping away.
Woo-wee! I mean, could you hear? I mean, Richard Engel basically scoffed at those people. Like, aren't you guys just being lazy? I mean, everybody has to work. Aren't y'all just being lazy? Oh, and there were some protesters out there clearly not ready for retirement age. So what? They not supposed to give a fuck about what their future is going to look like? I mean, just the condescending tone coming from American media towards this worker-led protest that it has not achieved all of its means, but god damn, you can't say they not fucking serious out there in France. They are about that fucking action. An American reporter don't know how to handle that shit. Just scoff, scoff, scoff. But shout out to the Parisian, the French brother, who was like, we don't want to be like Americans. You don't know? You don't know that Americans work until they're 80? Oh, we don't. That's not what we want for ourselves. We want a work-life balance. Sounds reasonable, does it not? And why is it that in this country, like, that is a system that we tolerate, you guys? You can judge any sort of entity, any sort of governing body, federal government, your city council, your town, your city, where they put their money, where they prioritize their budget is where their morals lie. And in this country, we do not prioritize taking care of the most vulnerable, the disabled, children, women, and the elderly, most importantly. And I was appreciative that that French brother was able to articulate that very plainly to Richard Engel there. And what did Richard Engel have to say about the shit? Not a motherfucking thing. So, as an example, cue up that News 12 piece for me, Will, because it clicked in my head. There's a lot of that. Like, there's a lot of people who are GoFundMeing and crowdfunding their healthcare, their hospital stays, their retirement, their college tuition. We live in an insane world. Like, the dystopia is right here, right now. We are in the upside down. Where anyway, hold on. Thank you so much for your super chat support, Arlene. Thank you, baby. 20 whole bones. Thank you so much, Arlene. Arlene says, I love what the French are doing. Yup. The problem in the United States is long protests here. Oh, that's right. Means losing your job. That is correct. And healthcare. Yeah, because we live in a slavery-based system. I mean, I say, slavery to sort of to exaggerate the point. But when your healthcare and your access to healthcare is tied to whether or not you are employed or employable, it really means that you don't have no healthcare, because your job could dismiss you at any point in time. And then where does that leave you? And I'm not a fan of Obama. And Obamacare certainly has its drawbacks. But not being able to kick people off of insurance for pre-existing conditions was a positive thing. Although I think premiums for people with pre-existing conditions became pretty much untenable. So it was sort of a wash, I guess, in that respect. Regardless, I want us to look at this story because for that, the French protester to astutely point out that Americans usually work far beyond retirement age, and not always because they're bored or they need something to do. No, there are many elderly Americans who get up and go out to a low wage or hourly wage job out of necessity, because this country does not provide for them in their golden years, their alleged golden years. So I want you guys to take a look at this story. I can't even recall from how recent or long ago this story was or was not, but it kind of doesn't matter, because chances are you've seen some variation of this story, likely locally where you live. So let's take a look at how American media reinforces this abdication of care deserving towards our vulnerable populations, and instead turns it around into, Oh, look at how much the community cares that this singular old person finally, at their very old age, advanced age, gets to sit down and not work. As if that is something to be proud of for this country. Let's take a look at this piece.
To underestimate the kindness of a stranger. What started as a grocery shopping trip to a Walmart in Apache Junction has led to a life-changing moment for an elderly woman who was working there as a greeter.
Definitely the best story of the day. Team 12's Bianca Bono brings us the heartwarming story that'll leave you wanting to pay it forward.
Yeah.
When things in life
I don't feel like I'm 82.
seem too good to be true,
My life has been up and down, up and down.
they often are.
They say these are the golden years.
Carmen Kelly knows.
What's golden about them?
When Carmen moved to Arizona in 2004, she thought her working days were behind her.
Well, I was in emergency room a few times.
Then,
I ran out of money.
the stress never took Carmen's smile away.
Life is too short to be unhappy.
She went back to work, and at 82 years old, holding her cane, leaning against a cart to provide some relief,
I just got good shoes.
she greets customers at Walmart, sharing that smile.
I love it so much.
When I saw her and I walked in the door, my heart was just like cracked open.
On Monday, Liz Rizzo went grocery shopping, becoming one of the many recipients of Carmen's smile. Liz, a stranger, couldn't help but wonder why she was working.
And the seniors in our world need to be taken care of because they took care of us.
She didn't know it at the time. Carmen had $50 in her bank account.
That'll get me through till next week.
Liz shared Carmen's story on TikTok
What's your name?
and set up a GoFundMe page with a $10,000 goal. Too good to be true, she thought, but might as well try.
How long was that video?
About a minute and a half, yeah, 90 seconds.
90 seconds is all it took.
My life is going to change so much.
Life-changing, times 10.
It is a miracle.
It is a miracle.
$108,000 and counting for Carmen.
I can't ever thank you enough.
Too good to be true?
This will be the golden years for me.
Not this time.
Yeah.
Just two incredible people. So what's next for Carmen? Well, she says she loves her job at Walmart so much, so she does not plan on quitting, but she may cut back on her hours. Then she hopes to buy a house and live closer to her granddaughter and grandson and her great-grandchildren. We'll be posting a link to Carmen's GoFundMe page on our website, 12news.com, if you'd like to contribute. Guys?
Oh my God.
I know, I'm almost speechless. I completely agree with the sentiment. It's just absolutely incredible people and the 90 seconds it took to change her world.
Really, man, it just never know when you're going to meet that one person who will make that big difference in your life. Bianca, great job. Thanks so much.
Well told.
But why was this woman working her entire life just to have a happenstance encounter with a stranger who happened to take pity on her situation, and then the situation went viral, and that this woman was able to receive enough donations from people's generosity so that she can truly just have the bare minimum to live, so that she can be housed, so that she can pay off her health care? Like, I got misty the first time I looked at that. Like, it almost made me cry, because the ease in which people can be forced into poverty for having to take care of their own health care, or to deal with an unexpected hospital visit or a sudden medical event or a car crash. Like, all kinds of shit can happen to you where all of a sudden you down bad health wise and you require hospitalization or surgery or something like that. And then all of a sudden you are looking at a life-changing amount of medical debt. And then all of a sudden, what happens? You're homeless. Then what happens? Then you out living out your car. Then you guys stay with I mean, it's a snowball effect that is unique to Americans, you guys, unique to Americans in the scheme of the Western industrialized world. Like, this is what our healthcare system does to people. It forces octogenarians into low-wage hourly jobs where they have to still use their mobility aids, a cane, and lean up against some shit to greet people at Walmart. And there's something particular about these stories because, again, I'm willing to bet y'all have seen a version of this story somewhere else. Because I found one in Maryland. And the reason I didn't pick the one that I found in Maryland, it happened in Western Maryland, out Cumberland, Maryland, is because I was just going to bomb too hard on the local news. So I was like, you know what? I bomb on my local news all the time. Them niggas probably hate me, but I don't care. Like, it's outrageous the ways in which the media is complicit in presenting this kind of scenario as one of benevolence instead of one of abject state failure. Why are so many elderly people forced into these predicaments in the first place? And but for the grace of God, should one again get caught on TikTok and someone have the presence of mind to create a GoFundMe, and then only then, I mean, that they stand a better chance of going buying a lotto ticket. How many invisible elderly people are living exactly this way? How many invisible elderly people find themselves in this situation? And this is the problem. And this is where the French, in this respect, have it right. The government should be taking care of you if you need it to, right? The government should provide basic human rights, staples for its citizenry, or provide easy access to it if it doesn't provide it outright. Housing, food, education, healthcare, parental leave, you know what I'm saying? Elder assistance, newborn assistance, all kinds of assistance. Don't look around the world and wonder why the fucking birth rate is falling. Bitch, it's capitalism. Nobody wants to continue to live under this system. Who wants to age under the system? Who wants to be 82 or 44 in my case? I mean, shit. I'm gonna have to go work at the Walmart in 40 years. I might have to go apply to Target in about 40 years. What the fuck? I don't subscribe to that shit, man. Get me the fuck out of here.